morning, Toastmasters. Today we have a wonderful speech, an installment from the Michael Morgan series. It's my favorite show. His project today will be about researching and presenting. So keep an eye out for some of his main objectives. He's going to be researching and presenting on kind of a new and unfamiliar topic. He's going to have to organize that speech clearly so that we can catch on where he's going with good transitions, and he's going to cite sources that he's used in that research. The timing for the speech is going to be 5 to 7 minutes. And this time I'll welcome Michael Morgan with the speech, "I Want to Be a Helicopter Pilot." Please welcome Michael.
Rising stars. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a pilot. Now my fidelity to this concept has never changed. But as of late, I've wanted to be a helicopter pilot. Look at it. It's a UH-60 Black Hawk. Beautiful. Now before I tactfully acquire one of these, I have to learn how to control it. How do I go forward, backward, side to side, left, right, up, down? Now, most of you in this particular situation would say, go to a course, sit down with an instructor, have him teach you. But no, not Mikey. I'm an engineer. I should be able to figure this out. So like most engineers, I go to the most reputable source of information, where I can look up material on this very subject matter, the World Wide Web. Everything you can find on there is true. The basic controls of a helicopter are found here. You have the cyclic stick, you have the throttle, you have a collective pitch control, and you also have the anti-torque pedals. The throttle. The purpose of the throttle is to maintain the rotational speed of your rotor. You know, the blades that's above your head. Believe it or not, throughout the majority of your flight, the rotational speed remains the same. It doesn't change. Anywhere between 460 to 600 revolutions per minute, depending on the plane. In this particular case, helicopter. So how does it go up and down if the rotor speed remains the same? That's where the collective pitch control comes in. When you move the collective pitch controls, it changes the angle of the blade collectively, meaning all the blades change at the same time. Once that happens, it produces a downward force which lifts the fuselage of your helicopter. Somebody's learned something. The other control is called the cyclic stick. Usually sits between your legs. The cyclic stick changes the angle of the blades cyclically, meaning that it will change depending on where in its rotational path it exists. So, if in the rear of the helicopter, which I decided to bring one right here, the angle of the blade in the rear of the helicopter is steeper than the angle in the front, it will create more lift of the back. This is how you get the forward motion as the thrust pushes the helicopter forward. The same thing happens if I turn the cyclic stick to the right or left. It allows me to roll the helicopter to the right or the left. So now we got our side-to-side movement, and we got our front and back. Pitch and roll. We have our up and down. The information that's passed from the sticks that I just mentioned, or the controls that I just mentioned, to the rotor, is done through something called a swash plate. The swash plate assembly is actually two parts, a moving part and a solid part. The moving part is connected to the blades through something called a scissor. that keeps them together. Now what changes the pitch or allows the pitch to change is the pitch linkage. That's this long rod here. And from the non-movable part of your swash plate, you have two linkages here, which is the control linkages that goes directly to your stick. The other control is called the anti-torque pedals, which is exactly as the name suggests. As the rotor torques, the body of the helicopter wishes to go in the opposite direction. To fight that, a young man by the name of Ivan Sikorsky created a tail hoop with a tail rotor. This tail rotor spins in the opposite direction of that torque to keep the helicopter in the same direction. Using that same concept, he decided, hey, why not use it to turn the plane as well? So now we can turn left and right because of this tail rotor. I gave you this cross-section of the tail. Well, I gave you this section of the tail so you can see it's pretty much of the same construction. And it uses the same concept to adjust the blades for more push. Ivan Sikorsky. He created the helicopter, well, correction, his version of the helicopter, which is a modern day helicopter, in 1942. That was the first flight that that helicopter actually made. And surprisingly, it flew. So we have him to thank for it. That modern day helicopter can be found in Virginia. I think I might go there. It's there today, actually. Now, before we get to that one. Armed with this knowledge, I decided I'm going to go ahead and try it out on a remote-controlled helicopter. Here. Now remember, I'm an engineer. I should be able to figure this out. Everything that I just mentioned exists here. I crashed in the most spectacular of fashions. I mean, if you take a look here, the rotor is bent. I lost a wheel and a couple missiles. If you open it up, you'll discover that some of the gears for the motor has been destroyed, obliterated. But it's okay. I'm an engineer. In a few weeks, when I decide to come back and give you a discussion on helicopter physics, I might take you for a ride. This was one of the controls that I used. And hopefully you can use it with me too. Thank you very much.